Hello everyone watching on YouTube and listening on Spotify. It's another episode of NRG Insights. And for those that don't know, NRG Insights is giving insights, hence the name, into the financial services market. So we speak to influential people in the market, whether that be from lending, broking, or ancillary products into our industry. So today I've got Jez Quinn from West One. Thanks for joining me, Jez.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
No problem at all. And Jez is the newly appointed. You were in that.
Yeah. So I've got a new title because we've got a structure change. So I was head of sales north, and now I'm just head of sales in our short-term finance division. So north and south.
Good stuff. I'm glad you said it because I always get people's titles wrong. And I always ask just before as well. So talk to me about your financial sale. We'll go more into West One and we'll talk about the kind of journey you guys are on. But talk to me about your personal journey at the moment. So where you have got to where you've got at West One.
Where I started, okay, I mean, it's a long time ago now. So what, 2007, I grew up in a pub in West Bromwich, and the plan for me was always to inherit. It was quite a successful pub, always to inherit the pub from my dad. And met a girl, didn't want to work late hours and weekends all the time. And we happened to be right opposite the West Bromwich Building Society's head office. So a few of the guys used to come in to the pub for a drink at lunchtime or after work and stuff. So got chatting to them. What's it like over there? Are there any jobs? What's the career progression like? And all that sort of stuff. So I went in there as a very young man in the investment services telephone division back in 2007, right just before the crunch happened. Fortunately, I was too low down the system for it to impact anything.
No, and to notice how was that actually? I speak to so many people that joined around that time, and it's like that. Oh yeah, it's really good for a couple of months, then the crash.
Yeah, well, literally, it was like they got in, and then about 3 months later, there was like mass redundancies of like middle management and stuff. But I did a huge variety of roles at the West Brom. But I went in there at the bottom rung of the ladder, and ultimately ended up running their branch and direct distribution for mortgages, which at the time was probably about 80-85% of what they did, because West Brom at the crunch pulled out of the intermediary market, so they only launched that back in kind of about 2015.
Oh, okay.
And that was the catalyst for me to get into BDM in at that time, because my team was about 80% of the overall market, the mortgages for the business, and then that the volume stayed the same, but the overall proportion dropped, because as soon as intermediaries came in, it just went like that. And the analogy I had was a little bit, I felt like the captain of the Titanic a little bit, because I've gone from being kind of one of the focal points here to actually less and less important. But I got on with my boss was a guy called Tony Hall, who's now at the Saffron. He helped me into a role as BRM, they called it, called BDM role at the West Brom. And then the rest was history. So I did that for probably about 8 months, and then I followed my boss out the door, and we went to Secure Trust Bank, who were they'd just got into mortgages. I tried that out to see how that worked for the bank, but ultimately the break-even point for them was going to come too long in the future, and they ended up pulling the plug on that.
Was Tony like your mentor at West Brom? And then
Tony was the boss at West Brom, and then hired me into Secure Trust. So I kind of went with him, but then the Secure Trust thing didn't work from a business perspective. So then I ended up making the move to Masthaven Bank. So did about 3 years at Masthaven in their long-term lending division, so resi, buy-to-let, seconds, and under Rob Barnard, again well-known kind of industry figure. Yeah. He Pepper before he joined Masthaven, then he went back to Pepper again. So he was great. Some really good years at Masthaven. Masthaven Bank unfortunately didn't work out. And then I got an opportunity with West One. Now it was funny, because I was actually talking to West One and got a job offer from them on the role that I ultimately ended up coming in on the about 2 days before we actually went into lockdown. So we kicked the can down the street on it a little bit, and then when the news broke that Masthaven Bank was exiting the market, Andrew Ferguson, who was the MD for Buy to Let at the time, called me, met him very quickly, and we got the deal done. So I came into West One in Buy to Let solely November of 2022. We merged the sales team for Buy to Let and bridging.
Yeah.
So started selling both products, and obviously West One are like predominantly bridging. Bridging's where the business was born out of.
I know I'm jumping in here. How was that transition? Because obviously it's happening a bit at the moment as well, isn't it? It's quite not with you guys, but it's happening. You hear it a lot about the kind of the mergers of teams. How was the transition for you guys? Because it's always a bit uncertain, at the same time it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. For me personally, it went very well. So it was, because it was it's almost completely separate businesses within the business. So we don't overlay like underwriters or admin. So you'd kind of got your Buy to Let team, you'd got your bridging team, and the management structures and everything were completely separate. So both being very demanding for their own individual products.
Yeah.
So you were kind of having to make sure you put the focus there, make sure you put the focus there, and you need to be very smart with your time and where you're putting the focus to make sure that you deliver the results. Didn't work for a lot of people.
Not taxing for to manage the BDMs, but you get like bridging specific BDMs, don't you? And then you get the Buy to Let, and some people just are better at selling a product than others, aren't they? So
yes, this is one of the problems that we had. So we've got we've gone through a few staff over the years with this, because you focus one product and the other product doesn't work. I think you definitely have to be kind of cut from a certain cloth to make both successful, because it's not easy and it does take a lot of effort. So but it worked. Listen, it worked in the area that I covered, so much so that I think it was in July of 23, I got made head of sales for the North. So it meant that I was kind of player manager. So your player manager is look after your own region, which for me was the Midlands. You tell by the accent, but the Midlands is loosely termed because it was everywhere from Llandudno to the Norfolk coast. So it's like geographically it was an absolute.
I love the way people pick their territories in financial services. Just go, ahead of the south, which could be down the bottom of Cornwall, across to Wales, and then they're also going to East Anglia and go, that's the south roughly. And then
the south north, but Plymouth was within my jurisdiction. It was like, well, can't really get anywhere.
That's in Golden City of Plymouth.
Well, luckily I didn't have to make that trek down there very often. But so that was it. So I went head of sales, and then kind of carved off the regions. We split that between a couple of us in the team. Mm-hmm. So we kind of had a head of sales north, a head of sales south, and then we managed the internal team separately. So we had kind of 3 people, all with their own styles and principles, all kind of trying to get to the same end goal. But again, that's something that probably wasn't optimal in terms of a structure. I think we've moved. So my newly appointed role, which was like July time, 1st of July, is now effectively I head up the sales team, and that's kind of everyone, including field and telephone sales. But taking a step back. So back in May, we merged Buy to Let in with residential. Yeah. So Buy to Let's now come out of the sales team.
It makes more sense, like long term, short term, than it does.
Yeah, it does. It completely does. I mean, the reason why we didn't do it in the first place is because when we did the merger with Buy to Let and bridging, we didn't have a residential product at that point. Residential for us is probably only a couple of years old. But it's definitely that. I mean, the synergies on both, but Buy to Let and Resi have more synergies than Buy to Let and bridging. But my team now are solely bridging focused, and bridging is the jewel in the crown for West One. It's what we do. I mean, we did 108 million of bridging lending last month in August.
Yeah, some nuts figures last month.
Phenomenal volume, and we want that to be the norm. Yeah. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to put in place. We feel now we've got the right structure, we've got the right support, we've got the right focus. We just want to build the right team, and we've made some very good appointments more recently. We've got a couple of irons in the fire, so watch this space. Yeah. We'll be announcing on the 1st of October somebody new that's going to join my sales team as well, which is going to be great. And then we're still on the lookout for 2 or 3 in the field, and then about 5 on the phone team. So really, I mean, our team should be.
You can't advertise on here, mate. You can't.
Well, you guys are doing a very good job. You guys are doing a very good job looking for us.
Let's talk about that actually, because I know it is something that like it's worth it. You're a big player in the industry, but you've had some challenges when it comes to keeping your recruitment and that kind of thing. So talk to me about that. What's changed that's working for you? Because it's everything's a learning process, isn't it? Doesn't matter how long you've been around.
It is, and listen, I think we're big enough to hold our hands up and say we've got it wrong in the past. I think we've made some hires that we shouldn't have done. I think we've then been guilty when we've had the right people in of maybe not supporting them as well as we could have done. And listen, you can defend it because we've not had we've had player managers that are in roles and stuff. So it's hard to give your focus truly to the team and support them and mentor them and bring them on to be.
Do work as well, right? If you're in a certain level of business, but you level up, don't you, with the amount of business you're doing? You do need to start looking at how structures change.
Yeah, I think the structure that we've got now, which is we've got someone solely there to go and help the team and hold them accountable, but also get your arm around them, support them, train them, show them how to be a really, really good and effective salesperson is the right thing to do. I think then when you couple that with the fact that we've got one major product focus, it's just a fundamental shift from where we kind of probably were 12 months ago.
Yeah.
I think it's the best place to work in the world. I absolutely love it. I've loved it throughout since the day I come in, but I am also extremely passionate, extremely hardworking, and it's kind of those sort of attributes that kind of come with that you can't teach. They're kind of the attributes that everyone wants, right? And not everyone does have the same passion for work, and I get it, and not everyone's going to. But it's about, for us, it's trying to build the right team, a team that have got a mix of experience, a team that have got a mix of personality, a team that are ambitious, a team that are passionate, a team that want to go and be the best, because we want to be the best. I think we're the best, but we want to go out there and we want to chase down that top spot as the UK's biggest non-bank lender, and we want to.
It is difficult. Sorry, Jez. It is difficult for you guys because I think you get so much money out the door, and there's been issues with keeping people and that sort of thing. But at the same time, you could easily look and go, well, it's them, right? Because the people that are really good are staying, the people that we aren't are going. But you haven't. You've stepped back and go, do you know what? This is what we need. I think it takes a lot to pivot at your size business as well, doesn't it? At the same time, it takes quite a lot of a lot of self-reflection, if you like, to look and go, what are we doing wrong? How can we be better? Because you're a big player. You could easily just go, let's just keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah. And listen, I think, as I said, it's there's no one answer to it. I think we've been guilty of accepting, taking gambles on people and hoping that it works out. Yeah. And then we've obviously had people historically that maybe would have led from a buy-to-let experience, and now that's gone, and bridging was never their bag, and inevitably that was never their passion, that was never going to work out, or was more unlikely to work out than it would be for someone from a bridging background.
You don't really know until you take the plunge. I'm a nightmare for that. Ironically, recruitment is my bag, but I'm a nightmare for the old. But you want to take a punt on someone, and you think, I can really do something with them, and actually, 9 times out of 10, if you don't feel like it's going to work at the beginning, it probably isn't. But we're all guilty of going, now they've got. I think I could do it. I think they've.
Yeah, do you know what though? But I still want a bit of that in the team though, because I want to admit it's like the football team analogy of you get the spine of your team right, and I think we've hired. We've just brought in Christian Googles down in London region, highly experienced guy. At the same time,
he's got a hole in one the other day as well, didn't he? Don't know if he's mentioned that 400 times.
He hasn't mentioned. If I had £1 for every time he mentioned it, I'd be very rich. But we've also got the person that we're going to be appointing on the 1st of October is again highly experienced. We do have an offer out again for someone highly experienced. So with that comes there's a couple of opportunities there for me to get someone young, hungry, can teach them the ropes as long as they've got the right underlying attributes. You wouldn't want to fill your team with them.
No. If you've got that, like you say, solid core of good, experienced guys that you know you can do it, and also they'd be great for mentoring as well, wouldn't they? Like just learning under good guys is
just watch them how they operate, and yeah, exactly. You need to learn. This is the same as anything, right? You only get better at it by doing it and by seeing people that are better at it and surrounding yourself in that environment. So we do a lot of stuff. So, I mean, we've just done our team meeting earlier this week. So one of the activities that we do in the team meeting is we kind of do like a little 5 or 6 minute elevator pitch of West One, of bridging, of the group and the other products and what we do, and then we kind of pick on random, like a couple of the guys in the room to do it, and then sometimes so like this week we then had Guy Murray, who is one of the co-heads of our short-term division. He did his, I did mine, and mine, I've learned to do mine from watching other people do theirs, and then you find your own style and interweave that.
Pick the bits that are about you as well.
Exactly, and just putting your own personality, your own spin on it, but ultimately you're telling the kind of same story because the story is the story for us. But yeah, people learn, and they're going to get better by surrounding themselves with people that want to get better, and that's the kind of environment that we're trying to create.
And do you know what? It's so obvious when you speak to people. I speak to newer businesses who do try, and I do get it as well, like budgets, etc. But people try and scrimp at the beginning to get people in. But if you just get that initial call right, you're always going to lose people along the way, aren't you? But if you nail that spine, you said the spine of your team, everything else falls into place because people can learn by that. You're not constantly having to drive one person because everyone in that team drives those people, don't they? And that's what that creates the culture that you're looking for.
Exactly, and the other kind of going into the detail a bit, but one of the other changes that we've made is so we have like different geographical regions, but the way I treat is I almost treat the region rather than the individuals within the region, and they range at the moment from there's a couple of regions where we are recruiting in that have one person in, and then there's one region that we've got that has 4 people in.
Yeah.
But I look at the performance of the region because I think that creates the right behaviours because they all support each other, but also hold each other accountable. If you've got 4 of you and one of you is delivering massively, or there's 3 of you delivering massively, and then there's one that you're kind of carrying, that impacts the overall region's success. And whilst ultimately the buck stops with me to be responsible for their performance, I want the team to be supportive of them and holding them accountable and helping them get better.
They want to be like that business within a business as well, don't they? Where they're, like you say, they hold each other accountable because.
Exactly. I almost want the regions to be their own little business within our business, but I want them to like come up with their own idea. It's not one size fits all. It's like we have West One, obviously hugely well established down in the south. Everyone knows who we are. That's where we were born out of. We do a lot of business down there. Always have done.
Yeah.
It's a different message for West One in the north. So like the perception for West One, I think historically has always been they're really good, they're really quick, but probably a bit expensive or a bit more expensive than some lenders. That's a myth now. I mean, our pricing is as competitive as anyone in the market now, and we want to be competing for those vanilla simple deals as much as we do the large single unit.
Because you do everyone gets a legacy name, don't they? It's like a constant PR battle with when you bring out new products and that kind of thing. I suppose that's why we have BDMs because they are the storytellers, aren't they? They're the guys.
They are, exactly. But I'm going. So my northern region will have a different story to tell, different marketing than one of my regions in London because it's a different message for different brokers that generally are dealing with different clients, and I want them to think about that and tailor it to suit their own regions with the support of me and with the support of Hayley, who runs our internal team.
Nice. So I mean that all makes sense. We managed to talk about your whole structure for nearly a third of the podcast. So we can tick that off if the marketing guys are listening. We did a good job. I want to talk to you about the leadership side of things because obviously you've got a great structure in place now, right? And you're all good leaders, and you know I have these conversations with all of you, and you can clearly see you've got that vision. But how do you pick them? How do you pick the next leaders? What are you looking for? Like with your Christians and those guys, they're that spine. But when you're looking at like the next generation, if you like, because this is the bit we're struggling with, and I genuinely believe there's a massive skills gap because we haven't we're not bringing in enough new people. But what are you looking for out of those next ones? No, maybe not leaders. Let's start with this. What are you looking for out of what makes a great BDM if they're coming in fresh?
The biggest thing that I want to identify is someone that cares, someone's that bothered about their not just about them and their performance, but about the business and about the business's performance, and understand where they fit into that wider picture. Because I think, and I say this when I'm interviewing everyone, for me, if you and I probably don't phrase it as caring, because I probably phrase it more about wanting someone to give a explicit about what they do. I can work with that because I can teach you the other stuff. You can come in and you're passionate and you really care and you really want to get better and you really want to work hard to get better. That you're mouldable, and that's kind of what I did, and I kind of went in with the attitude of I want to be the best, I want to be competitive, I want to learn, I want to work hard, and throughout my career it's worked out quite well for me, and I want to kind of get people that are built in that image. Is it important that you have some experience in there for some different ideas? Yeah, completely is. But if I can have one attribute from somebody, it's going to be that passion to care, because I don't think you can
teach anyone the technical knowledge of what you're doing, can't you? But if they don't give a shit, it's really hard to, that you can. I think like technical side, anyone can learn. We could sit someone down and teach them. But you can't teach someone passion. I think the character traits that you're looking at are the not the be all and end all, but they're so important. And I do think that's changed a lot in BDMs as well, because I think like the caring bit probably was missed a few years ago, because we were like, I class myself as a BDM, and it was like sales hungry. You got to be driven to get the next sale. But actually, the more you care about it, the more you care about your product, the more you care about your clients, the rest of it comes naturally, doesn't it? That's like the money's a byproduct.
Yeah, listen, and it's like if you look after that, everything else will look after itself. It's like if my phone rings, and it's a broker, and it's a and listen, everyone doesn't need to do this, but I do it, and I always have done it. But if that phone rings at 6:30 tonight, if it rings at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, if it rings at 7 p.m. Sunday night, I'm going to call them back. I'm going to text them back. I'm going to answer their email. It ain't going to wait till Monday at 9 o'clock. Do you know why? Because I want to go and win that deal. I want to go and help that client. I want to go and do it. I get some brokers these days, and they know it's not a deal I'm going to do, but they'll ring me and they'll go, Jez, look, I know this ain't one for you, but who do I do it with? And I know you'll help me.
Yeah.
And it's like, I do help you, because I know that when it is one for us, I'm going to get the first phone call, and that's the little bit that you don't see. If your phone rings and it's... I said to one of my guys last week, I was in the office on... I don't know why I would have even been in, but it was like at 27 minutes past 5. I think it was on a Friday, and it was like he was just making a brand new outbound call, introducing himself and the proposition, and I was like, I love that.
Yeah,
like 27 minutes past 5, you're about to go out. Like some other people are putting the coats on, getting the
they've already sort of looking at the door and
that's the stuff that you can't teach, because that's the difference maker. Is just being relentless, caring, being bothered, wanting to be the best. So that's the attribute for me. If you can get the whole package of you've got somebody that does that, along with the fact that they're experienced and they're well liked, and they've got good personality.
But I think with young guys, it's just not you can't be young and experienced. You can't have both. So I think it's really important when young people look at it, like the most important thing is actually caring. But that does involve the learning as well. If you care about something, you do learn more about it. You become more gifted in the knowledge side, because you want to, don't you? Because you love it. Like, it's not,
you want to know the answer. Exactly. You want to know what the answer is, so that you can help the person the next time, and you don't pretend that you know. Like you get there and the amount of times I sit on a meeting, and if I'm sat on a meeting with like Danny and Tom and the guys, and they're chatting away, and sometimes I'm like, never heard of that before, and it's like, right, straight out Google, right, what does this all mean? What does this? We're trying to read all about it. So next time that I kind of know, and I mean, I should probably just ask the question, but sometimes you feel like you don't feel like you.
Not every time, not every management meeting. Yeah, it's nice to use ChatGPT as well when you can.
Exactly, and Google's got that AI thing now that you type it in, it comes up with a pretty good summary of what it is.
You can do it on the move, just as you're. But it's important, though, isn't it? Because we don't know. There's so much we don't know in everyday life. Like I've been doing the same job for 15 years, and I'm still learning stuff all the time.
Yeah, listen, you learn every single day. I say this to my guys because I've got a couple that I've got a couple in the team that are younger and less experienced and stuff, and they almost see it as a negative sometimes when they don't know the answer because and then put that back to their experience. I'm like, guys, I learn something new every single day. If you don't learn something new every single day, you're doing something wrong. And it's like, well, you want to have a thirst for it and you want to embrace the fact that you don't know. That not knowing doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What matters is if you don't know and you try and make the answer up and you get it wrong, that matters. You don't know, you say I don't know. We've got a highly experienced, highly supportive team that someone will know. So it's just making sure you know the right person to go and ask and get support from because then you get the right answer. But yeah,
and you're just
giving the wrong answer out,
we're not even selling the product. And we had a meeting yesterday about kind of what senior debt is, junior debt, what the whole capital stack looks like, and why people, how the money works. Because actually, it's not completely relevant to us. But I listen to other recruiters who haven't got a clue what a funding line is, or where the money comes from, or what and I think you compare like we're two different machines, because you have to know, like you have to know your product. We have to know our clients' products as well. Otherwise, we're speaking to BDMs. We've got to sound like BDM. We understand the whole product. But it's really easy just to go into your little, okay, this is all we need to know. You know what I mean?
And listen, and that's important because not all things are equal. So you might have 3 BDM jobs for 3 different lenders covering 3 similar areas that all have 3 similar salaries and commission structures, but not all things are equal. It's like the lend. You need to look at the lending. You need to
people realise how different every business is. I said talking to a BDM the other day, and he said, "Oh, you're pretty much just like matching a CV to a job spec line." You know, I said there's so much more nuances than that because every business is different. And I started going through the actual things that matter because you're right. We're talking about pounds and pence when it comes to differences in what it looks like on a job spec, but the company's different. If you don't learn it, you don't know.
And listen, and it isn't always that important to people, but when at my journey that I've just explained, I came out of what was effectively 2 failed businesses. I know Secure Trust Bank wasn't a failed bank.
Yeah. But
they pulled out of the mortgages that they tried to get into the mortgage division, and then Masthaven Bank, as it was, exited the market. So coming out of what was effectively a start-up for a bank, and then a bank that ultimately had the plug pulled on it, was very important to me to look at. P&L. It was very important for me to look at funding and making sure that the job had long-term security. And again, that was a big factor in why I joined Enra and West One.
But it's the same thing as if we don't know how you're funded, for instance, and someone comes out and goes, "Oh, because everyone knows a story about someone but they don't really know it." So unless we know the full story, then we can go to people. And actually, that's not true. They've got well, whoever it is, whatever company, they've got 3 new funding lines. This is X, Y, Z, and this is where they send that money. And you explain the story, and they go, "Oh, I didn't know that. I just heard that they worked with so and so." So you need to know the whole story, don't you? But that's the same as you guys need to know the whole product. You've got to be able to tell.
And you almost need to know. Yeah, you want to know. I want to know my competitor's product because I want to know where mine's better than theirs, and then I can lean on that aspect of it, and then I know actually someone's got this nice bit of criteria here, but actually here's how we came through it here, and if you know all that, it makes selling the proposition a lot easier because you really know your stuff, and then when you're passionate about it, that comes across and leads to forging good relationships and getting people to give you a try, which is ultimately what BDMs need to do.
Yeah. Likewise. So let's touch on this. So we talked about what makes a good BDM if they're junior, and you've put, like we said before, you've kind of corrected a lot of stuff in the business. You put that great leadership structure in place, and you said about the support side of things. But what do you think? So talk to me about that support side of things. What is it that you're doing for your guys now that you think is like the gem, if you like, that's making the difference maker for you when it comes to what people have to think about when they're supporting their teams? I'm trying to get it as a question.
Yeah, cool. Well, listen, I can't take all the credit for the structure changes because obviously that's
it was me. If anyone's watching this, I do.
But listen, the support from I mean, I used to try and do this anyway. So when I had a smaller team, and I tried to give them the time that they needed, and I had a couple of lesser experienced people that were kind of reporting into me, but they the player manager bit is still hard because you judge by your results, and it's like if I'm having a weak month, what am I going to do? Am I going to go over there, or am I going to go and
you've got to
make sure I don't have a weak month, and ultimately I need to do this. So the fact that that's now changed, and effectively I've come off the road now completely. I've got a few key accounts that I look after, but you pretty much count them on one hand. So my time is fully devoted to supporting and mentoring, training the team, both field and internal. And as I said, once we're up to fully resourced, that should be a team of circa 20 people. Now, I try and make sure that I go out for at least one day of dual calling with per field-based person per month.
Right.
So just this week,
tough when you got 20.
Last night I was out in. It's going to be challenging when we get a bigger team, but we'll have about 10 on the road, and then we'll have 10 in the office. So we do have a management team in the office that effectively would do the same as what I do with them. But the field-based team, so I was out with we've got a guy called Tom White that joins us, looks after kind of one of our kind of South London regions down into the South Coast. So he was out at an event that he'd organised yesterday, so I attended that to support him. Meant that I got home very late last night because I came back. But he it's going and supporting him at that. But then on last week I was out with Paul, who's another one of our BDMs in that region, who again had got into 3 really kind of key accounts, and we've got on the back of one of those meetings we've got quite a large deal that should close today, which is absolutely fantastic. And then it's spending time with Christian. Christian knows what he's doing. He's very experienced. Probably doesn't know the West One way because he's new to West One, but obviously knows what he's doing. So it's going and just being there to support him, make sure he's comfortable, to teaching someone how to do the job. We're going to have people in there.
Different levels of support, and no matter individual.
Exactly. And for me, I do that. I speak to pretty much all of them every single day. If not, it's not more than 24 hours when I wouldn't chat to them. We've got a WhatsApp group where we kind of chat about what deals are in and all that sort of stuff, and we have a bi-weekly meeting with each region, so we sit the region down together. So today I've got two of those regions that'll be in the diary to have a catch up on. But for me, as well, on the flip side of that, because that's all business focused, I am a chatty, hopefully got a decent personality, love a bit of banter. I want to get to know the guys. I've always operated the best where I felt that my boss is I've got a close relationship with my boss, a friendly relationship with them.
They say that people don't leave companies, they leave bosses. I think that's the...
Exactly, and I've been blessed over the years to work for some great bosses, and it's about being feeling supported, being respectful, but also having the normal conversations, having how's the family, how's this and that, and I'm very flexible with. I've got kids. It's like I wouldn't want to miss a sports day, or I've no problem with that, because you do what you need to do. Just it'd be very obvious if you were taking the Michael, and listen, that's just the environment we're trying to create. I just want people to come in, enjoy working, have banter, deliver amazing results, work really hard, and then everyone will succeed. And the continuity for the team, it shouldn't be a place that you want to leave, because you can come in and you're happy, you're delivering, you're getting paid, and there's real career progression. And I mean, I'm a testament to that at West One, because I've come in 3.5 years. I've gone from being a buy-to-let national account manager to running the region town in 3.5 years. And it's so there's progression now. I mean, we're creating, and we've not finalised all this officially yet, but we're creating a path from phone to field.
Yeah.
So we've just promoted a phone BDM into the field, which has kind of been
I'm a
amazing.
massive advocate for it. And I shouldn't say that in recruitment, because I want to plough people in. However, I think there's such a wasted amount of talent in that internal BDM, but not just a West One, across the whole financial services. People just want that quick win. They're like, that guy has his book and that guy. But actually, then it makes it a really nice machine, doesn't it? But it's hard to convince loads of people of that, because it isn't an easy win. It's a patience and
It's both, because we ain't just going to give you anything. You need to earn your stripes. West One's very much like you earn your stripes here, and then you get the keys to the kingdom thereafter. It's nothing given to you. You need to prove yourself. Yeah. But we've got the platform for people to come in and prove themselves. We've just made it successful with one because of the Manchester office that we've opened earlier this year. And the fact that we've got that base up there now gives us almost like 2 geographical regions to do this in, because ultimately if you're all in Watford and then that's how you're promoting them, you're going to get people that can come out the south east for us. But now we've got Manchester, we've got a couple of regions up there that person could, if there was one from that office that could flit into, and want to create a nice career path to succeed. And listen, I understand that sometimes you need to let people go and it doesn't always work. Lock the nest and all that sort of stuff. It happened to me at the West Brom. I used to love the West Brom. Did nearly 10 years there, but it was time to go. And like that, I just want to make sure we've got a team where we can support these people.
It's like a simple business thing. We say that, like, we want to just create a business where people love going to work and can earn good money. Do you know what I mean? It's not like...
And that's all it is. Yeah. I'm complicating it, but that's literally all it is, isn't
it? Yeah. And they're happy if they're earning money, and they're happy if they're happy as well. It seems quite easy that way, but I obviously, coming from my side of the fence and yours, I know it's much more complicated than that. But that's the kind of the ethos behind it, isn't it?
Yeah, it did, completely, and it's all that's literally it. We have standards we expect from people.
There's 100 different things in the background, isn't it? But as long as we see that bit.
But want it to be a fun place to work where you come and you're motivated, and then you get paid. You get paid as a result of that hard work and the results that come from that hard work. And listen, that's what we've set up. I mean, one of the other things we've done, again, without going into huge detail on it, we've really crystallised the commission scheme now. Yeah. Which is not ambiguous. It wasn't that ambiguous anyway, but we've crystallised a couple of points that were kind of...
You see some people's, honestly.
Yeah,
I always say, like, salespeople just want to know what they're earning. Like, we're fairly simple folk. We just want to know what we're rewarded on. And
it couldn't be any clearer now.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Amazing. And if anyone wants to get hold of you, Jez, I said I'll be half an hour. I've already gone over, but I will. If anyone wants to get hold of you, what's the best way to speak to you? Whether it be about West One or just generally anything we've touched on. What's the best way to contact you?
Yeah, contact me anyway. So I've got Jez Quinn _property on Instagram. I've got Jez.Q on LinkedIn.
Your phone number on it. You get a lot of weirdos.
Quinn, whatever it is. But you can reach me. My details are on the West One website, email, phone number. If you want to give me a chat, if you're reading this and you're thinking I wouldn't mind joining them, have a word with Marcus. If you're thinking this and thinking,
appreciate that little tip.
Little plug.
If people want to get hold of you, I think you're already open. You're an open book, aren't you? Like, I think it's important that people know that if they just want a conversation, it is well worth having that. And we, I haven't known you that long.
100%. And it's always worth having a conversation. Yeah. And listen, if you're a broker that hasn't used West One for bridging yet, you should. And get in touch with me, because I'll give you a million reasons why you should.
Fantastic. And on that, I will. I appreciate your time, Jez. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you, everyone listening on Spotify, watching on YouTube. It's another episode of NRG Insights. And again, Jez, really appreciate your time today, mate. I think I will speak to you soon.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.